Is how well does the mower mow when the grass is thick? Well, this grass is pretty stinking thick, and on top of that, it's wet. So it mows pretty good. The thing is, when it's wet, you're not going to get quite the compaction in the bag. So let me show you here. So what you see is, this is, if I would have went a little bit more, like maybe another pass, this would have clogged the chute. And it's just not, it's pretty airy, like it's wet, but it's like not really thick, meaning that it's not compacted as well as it could be. So I would say that's pretty much a fault on the mower. I don't know if it's a fault necessarily, as it's just maybe not as powerful as it could be, because when you're going through the thick stuff, the motor speed declines, which of course means the blade speed declines. And as everyone knows, as the blade speed declines, that also means the compaction is going to be less. Now, I could probably stand to clean the bag, but I mean, you can still see there's a decent enough airflow. So let's check underneath the deck here. Now, I do clean this regularly, but as you can see, it's kind of just getting chunky, and that could probably help with the flow a little bit, but it's not terrible. Now, what I would say is this: if you notice here, I've been taking the garden hose to this, not even a pressure washer, and the paint's starting to flake off. Now, that's not a huge deal, but that will end up having a little bit of rust. So the question is, how long is this going to hold up? I mean, as long as you're cleaning it, I think it would hold up, I don't know, at least a couple seasons. I'm not sure yet. Hopefully we'll figure that out together. But for right now, I'm really impressed with the mower overall. It does a decent job with mulching, and really in thick grass. Like, if you notice on the grass that's been trimmed, you're not looking at any like in between blade issues, right? So it seems to be cutting it well, even though the deck's dirty and even though the grass is wet. I am still really impressed with the mower. Someone in my last video commented if you tilt it over on the right like this, it'll keep the gas from going everywhere. And it does, for the most part. There's a tiny bit of gas seepage, but that's not terrible. But what I will say is, well, let's see what else. Oh, the other thing that I would say is kind of an issue is, one, the gas tank is terribly small. But this little flap right here, it's supposed to be a flap that covers it. It came off pretty much the second week of using it. So, not a fan of that. The drive is a little weak, and the blade engagement can be a little weak too. But overall, I'm still really happy with this mower. It's brought me a lot of joy. Now, the one thing I haven't been able to get working, and maybe somebody else can comment, is this section here to clean out the deck. I hooked the hose up to it and just sprayed everywhere. Didn't seem to really do anything. I think I understand where it's coming out, but I think it's coming out around, oh, I can't see any opened areas, but like these areas, right? I think that's where it's supposed to come out. But I wouldn't imagine that would get like all this stuff. I couldn't get it to work on mine. So I'm not a big fan of that self-cleaning feature, but honestly, just cleaning your mower after every use isn't the end of the world. Overall though, I'm really kind of a fan. So, I mean, I guess I'd have to get another mower to compare it to. But for right now, with my small business, this is doing the job. And it is actually increasing productivity by a substantial amount. So I highly recommend this mower to anyone who's just starting out, or even if you're not, like, as long as you don't have a lot of big hills because the drive is a little weak, or as long as you don't need to mulch something like this, where the grass is incredibly tall, I think it would do a good job for you. I can see it's probably going to wear out in a year or two and have to replace parts, but what mower don't you have to replace parts for? So far, I really like this mower.